What's up, everybody? You're tuned in to another episode of Off the Yard. I'm Big Lance. You know, I've seen some crazy stuff in prison. I mean, crazy stuff. But what I'm going to talk about today was a whole different realm of oddity. We're going to talk about pimping. We're going to talk about trafficking. This is a topic a lot of people don't want to discuss. I don't even know if they're going to let me drop this video, but it needs to be told. And we're going to get into it right now.
Gladiator game, gladiator game. I'm Big Lance. Tuned in to Off the Gladiator game, gladiator game. I'm Big Lance. Tuned in to Off the Gladiator game.
I've seen a whole lot of violence. I've seen a whole lot of things that I'm not going to be able to unsee. When I first started doing time in the late 90s as an adult, a teenage adult, I learned very quickly about politics. I learned about race. I learned about a lot of things, man, that I was not privy to before I went to prison. That being said, the introduction of transgender individuals coming into the system, you know, it was something that we all had to kind of accept, whether you believed in it or not, whether you were okay with somebody doing that. It didn't matter because you were forced to deal with it. You couldn't shut your door in your nice little warm home and hide from the truth. You had to face it every day, just like everything else in prison. Just like the violence, the gang infestation, the organizations, the religions, the race, all the stuff that prison makes you accustomed to. I think when people started coming in there, men started coming in there that had breasts. Men started coming in there who had butt implants. They looked like women. But they only look like women for a little while. Because once they stop taking those injections or whatever it is they're doing, they start to look like men. So they would have these feminine type bodies, but they have like a beard. It's just, it's odd to me, but it is what it is. No disrespect to people who live that lifestyle, that's their choice. I want to make that very clear. I don't particularly care how somebody lives their life. It's their life. They can do what they want to do with it. But I think gangsters saw dollar signs. You know, there had always been homosexuality in prison. There have been people who prison's going to make you either become the alpha or the beta, or the femme. I think that when they saw these people coming in here and the attention that they were getting from a lot of the inmates, they decided, well, it's just like in the streets. You know, you go down certain blocks, you know what you can get. You know, you can pick up a female for a couple dollars, or a male that wants to be a female, or vice versa, whatever. You know, there's something for everybody out there, I reckon. But it became very, very evident, very, very fast, that there was going to be a market. I think that the gangsters and the administration started to see these individuals going into cells. They put the cut up, basically put the sheet up in the door, the pillow up in the door so you can't see in there. And they would do what they do. And then the person would come out, the boy would come out with a bag full of food. I've seen guys that I grew up with, solid dudes, man, fighting dudes, let the hunger and the situation make them panic and do things that they wouldn't have normally done. I've seen guys give up the cheeks for a bag of chips and a soda and then come out and sit in the day room and eat it in front of all the people they grew up with, in front of people that they've known for years. I've seen men come in that were very masculine. Within a year or two, they're walking around with some tight jeans on, a little teeny shirt. I've seen dudes take a net bag, a laundry bag, and make dresses out of them. Think about this. These men would walk around with a net bag on like a miniskirt. When the gangsters started seeing that, they decided they were going to put their hands in the pot. They decided they were going to make sure that they ran the market. So it basically became a pimping organization. They would have these boys that would work for them, 3 or 4 guys that were doing it already. Now they didn't have to just go do it, but they had to pay somebody else for the privilege to do it. Gangsters got their hands in the pot. There started being money made. Once the administration found out about it, what do you think happened? It's just like you hear these stories about people who talk about fight clubs and things like that, where the administration and the guards get their hands in. Well, the guards started getting their hands into sex trafficking. They started getting their hands into saying, well, if they're going to do it, we're going to make some money at it. And what started as a hobby maybe, or as a relationship status in the penitentiary, became a business. It became a very, very lucrative business. Not only now with the gangsters involved in it, but the gangsters had to pay up top. The gangsters had to pay the administration in order to have the privilege to run the racket. And what they would do is, if they saw an individual that was transgender, or an individual who didn't have a lot coming in, young, green, couldn't even grow a beard yet, oh man. And these youngsters or these people would end up having to be forced to have multiple partners a day. A day. I don't know how it all went down. I figured they go in there, do what they do in the cell, come out with their bag, break off everybody, go clean their butthole, and then go do it again. This is the type of stuff that you're going to be having to deal with, guys. And I know a lot of y'all going to say, why are you making videos like this? Because it's the truth. It became such a rampant thing that it was almost comical, man. You'd sit back and watch, and you pick them out the minute they got there. Some little dude that wants to run around and be very flamboyant, take the colored pencils, put makeup on. Sometimes they use Skittles, whatever they could to get color. They'd walk around with makeup. And before they made us do the haircuts and all that stuff, they would grow long hair, curl it up. And the gangsters sat back and made money off of it. My organization, we never got into that. That wasn't our deal, man. I didn't promote it. I didn't like it. I thought that it was beyond the realms of moral fortitude to make somebody engage in things like that in order for me to eat. I feel like there was other ways to make money. But it became so rampant that it started with the inmates, but then the guards, some of these young female guards, got their hands in the pot. So when the gangsters started realizing that they could talk some of these young chicks into slide in some of these cells, it became very lucrative. It became very, very profitable. What started as, you go in there and you're going to make $5, $10, you break us off, became a thousands of dollars a week thing. So bad that the administration lost control of it and the higher-ups had to come in and shut it all down. I remember having to go, we went on lockdown, and the feds come in there and they're, because, you know, a lot of these jails and prisons are they're federally funded, man. So that's why you see like some of these jails will hold these federal inmates or these ICE inmates or things like that, because the feds are giving them money to do that. But you can't have a federally funded institution running around promoting prostitution from the inmates to the guards to everybody. There's always going to be sex in prison. That's just the way it is. They're never ever going to stop that. But it was just like anything else you see as far as people being forced to do that. Forced. When you have these gangsters who are running down these young kids, or these gangsters who are running down these transgender inmates, they're gonna take advantage of a situation. If you walk in there and you've got breasts and you have got butt implants, you're gonna be a sex slave, man. I've seen it. Do not think that you're going to be any different. And do not think that there's going to be anything that you can do about it when it happens. And do not think just because you are not homosexual that you can't be forced to be. I always used to tell youngsters, man, don't come in there and make a loud noise, man. Don't come in there and put a bullseye on your back. Don't come in there and act like you are Too Tough Charlie, because you're going to get shown very fast that you are not. And they're going to make you exploit your manhood. They're going to make you lay down and give your butthole to anybody that wants to come get it. Whether you want to or not. I've seen so many youngsters learn the hard way, man. I've seen a lot of these flamboyant individuals coming to a pod. And it's like a kid in the candy shop, man. You know what I mean? They walk around like they're getting the attention from the guys. You'll see when they come in, they look like females, and dudes will literally go upstairs quick into the pod, shave, get cut in, get the Levi's on, put the Timbs on, take a magazine and rub the cologne on. That's a man. Dudes say, "Oh well, you know, I ain't gay because I'm thinking about a woman." Nah, bro. No, you're not. Sex trafficking in the penitentiary is very real. It's very, very, very real. And it goes all the way from the inmates to the guards to the administration, and probably higher than that. I've seen certain prisons. Greensville had a whole prostitution ring. I'm not spitting no game. This shit was already, they got locked up and everything for it. So, you know, people that say, "Oh, you putting people on," no, I'm not. I'm not talking about nothing that ain't already been talked about. I'm just giving you the aspect of what I saw because I was there. Drugs, prostitution, violence. This is the environment you're going to put yourself in. I love you guys. I don't want to see you go through that. So whenever you're out there thinking about doing that crime, and you're like, "Hey man, I can go do my little 5-10 years. I'll be all right." You be all right, yeah. But you got to think about who are the people that are in these institutions. This is the worst of the worst, guys. These are the people that society has pushed away, thrown away, and locked up and thrown away the key, man. How do you think they feel about your morals? They don't care. If they see an opportunity, they're going to take it, whether that's your money or your manhood. You better be ready to fight and die for yours, or you'll just be another victim. It don't matter how bad you think you are. It don't matter how strong or tough or how good you can fight. That don't mean nothing, man. You be walking around the pod holding on to a belt loop, wearing a dang on dress made out of a net laundry bag. I've seen it. It's real. There's a dude doing a life sentence, man. Dude named Beefy. That's what we called him, Beefy. Beefy was a big old fat, sloppy, you know, just in the way ass dude, man. Stuck on strips, stuck on dope, always getting high. but he would chase some boys around. I remember walking the track one day. I was with my homeboy, man. And on most yards, you got bleachers. You know what I mean? You got these bleachers so they can watch softball games and things like that. Well, we're coming around, and Beefy was sitting with this. He chased the boys all the time. We had this big, tall, dark-skinned boy, man. But he had the breasts and the butt and all that stuff, man. He would walk around the yard with cut-off jeans, man. He would wear the jeans out so he could get past the guards, and then he would take those off, and he'd roll his sweats up and things like that so his butt cheeks were hanging out. Bend over to pick up something, never bend with your knees. Always, straight back. Might want to see that, man. Because when you do that, I mean, and most of these dudes, and this is not, it's just there, I've seen it. Most of these dudes are swung like donkeys. You bend over them last shorts on me, things hanging out, flopping to your knees, man. You ain't no girl. You know what I'm saying? So, Beefy's chasing this boy around all the time. All the time. Giving him money, giving him drugs, giving him stuff, giving him this. I'm like, Beefy, what are you doing? Beefy said, man, I got a life sentence, man. I ain't gay, but I got a life sentence. I guess I can't speak on it because I've never had a life sentence, but in my mind, I feel like I wouldn't do that. There's nothing enticing about that to me. But anyway, we're coming around the track, the far side of the softball field. I see Beefy sitting over there. I'm not paying much of mind to it. When we come back, the bleachers are here. You kind of have to walk under them. And when I walked under, I look up. And Beefy has got this boy's pants pulled down and going in on the rec yard, outside, broad daylight. I say these stories, guys, and I tell you these things because I want you to know that it's real. It's not a joke. I want you to imagine you're just walking around, you look up, and there's some dude. It's dudes that you think are solid most of the time. Some dudes are solid, man, chasing the boys around. I've seen gang leaders do it. Sex trafficking in prison, man. It's a real thing. Much love to the Gladiator gang, man. Salute to all my real ones. And as always, stay up, stay out, stay sucker free, baby. Be blessed.